Hello everyone, welcome to the talk Community Involvement Artísticos Projects in the Pandemic Context as the Centro de Criação in Santa Maria da Feira. With me, I have three guests with projects related to arts, culture and community who will share their experience, their opinions and make known the important work they have been developing, especially in times of pandemic. With me, I have Airan Berg. Airan Berg is an artistic director and theatre maker. He has worked in both large theatres and small companies. And with Martina Winkel, he co-founded Theatre Os Grenzen, I think.
Ohne Grenzen, without borders.
Hello everyone, welcome to the talk Community Involvement Artist Projects in a Pandemic Context at the Centro de Criação in Santa Maria da Feira. With me I have three guests with projects related to art, culture and community who will share their experience, their opinions and make known the important work they have been developing, especially in times of pandemic. With me I have Airan Berg. Airan is an artistic director and theatre maker. He was work in both large theatres and small companies, and with Martina Winkel, he co-founded Theatre Without Borders, a visual theatre company and the International Puppetry Festival for Adults in Vienna in 1993. In many other relevant works, Airan was the artist director for performing arts of the European Capital of Culture Linz 2009 and is the founder of the Orfeo&Majnun project, an intercultural, interdisciplinary and inclusive project inspired by the Greek myth of Orfeo and Eurydice and the Arab love story between Layla and Majnun. Welcome, Airan.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now we have Inês Teixeira. Inês Teixeira is the woman of the 7 instruments, a guru of organizing ideas and hearts. In Frenesim, she dedicates herself to the design and creation laboratories and to adult core, although she has already helped in all the groups that Frenesim work with and regular training. She has a degree in music and has been dedicated to the areas of pedagogy and performance. She has a master in music teaching at Universidade Autónoma, correct? Aveiro, Universidade de Aveiro, and directing at the Conservatorium of Maastricht. She worked at Opera Zuid and directed several choirs and ensembles in Belgium and Holland, where in parallel she dedicated herself to music in the community with the Soundbox Music Lab project. She lives looking for new ways to teach and learn, building bridges and experimenting without fear. Welcome, Inês.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Last but not the least, we have Susana Alves. Susana Alves is the founder of Lugar Específico, a cultural center that was born in Lisbon in 2019 and is dedicated to the relationship between art and education. Susana has a degree in educational psychology with a background in education through arts and has collaborated with various educational services at Fundação Cultura Geste, Museu Coleção Burardo, Jardim Botânico de Lisboa, Fábrica da Pólvora de Barcarena, Programa Descobrir da Fundação Carlos Gulbenkian, among others. Susana Alves has several experience in other fields, as a storyteller or massage instructor. As she defines herself, she is incendiary of ideas, a planter of creativity, a choreographer of thoughts, a community artist. Welcome, Susana. So I will start with Airan, but first thank you all for your presence here in the Imaginaries. I would like to start by realizing the essence of each project that you have. Airan, why did you join two myths about love and music and nature as well, one from the West, another from the East, and make it a community project?
Oh, it's a lot of questions in one. I'll try to give the essence of it all. I'm very much interested in all my work to give voice to the people in artistic process, social process, political process. And the best way to give a voice is to give people the opportunity to participate. And one always needs to find a common motive or a common story that connects the people to engage in a story. Because we ask them for their time, we ask them for their knowledge, we ask them for their creativity. And we also have to give something back, I find. So in different projects would have different focuses, but what is more human than the basic emotions of love, loss, and longing, which are connected in these two stories, and what is more important now also in our connection with nature. And the political situation in Europe when we started to develop this project, because now it's a bit later also due to delay through COVID, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Yes.
But we actually started to develop this project in 2016. And at that time, one of the most prevalent topics where I was living, in Austria, but also other places, and the EU, was the whole idea of migration and the clash of cultures that we were beginning to see. And so the project was developed in different parts of Europe. It's a Creative Europe project. So in a city like Brussels, where there are so many also Muslim migrants, or Aix-en-Provence or Vienna, or Malta, where the language is actually based on an Arabic language, a Semitic language. Here, which was the border between Christianity and Islam, where there's a strong Muslim history here in this part. So we looked for places where it made sense to tell these stories and to also use elements of both cultures. So when we went in Molenbeek, which now everybody thinks is the center of terrorism in Brussels, because many people live there from North Africa, from Arabic countries, a lot of Muslim population. They say, when you say we also do Leila Majnun, they say, well, that's our story. So in order to engage people from communities which have different cultural backgrounds than we are used to, if you don't tell their stories, why should they participate? So, and you also may find that more Arabic people will know Leila Majnun than Western people will know Orfeo and Eurydice. So when you come and we invest time and we do workshops with them, we communicate in different languages to invite people to workshops. So that is the essence of it, to bring people together from different cultures, to break down these barriers that we were put on by bad politics, and to give everybody a voice in the process. That is, I think, the essence of my work.
Yes,
or our work in this case. It's not me alone, because it's all of us.
It's the sense of identity in your project as well, too.
Of course, every work we do, I think, connects to our identity, but people who's come from the culture that knows Leila Majnun, they were very proud that their story is being told on the National Opera of Belgium, or the famous Aix-en-Provence Festival, or the Concerthaus in Vienna, which are often seen as elite spaces of Western culture. So to sing in Arabic in the Opera House of La Monnaie, whoa, that's a big thing.
Yes, thank you.
And also to sing themselves on the stage of La Monnaie.
Yes, of course.
Gives another dimension.
It's huge, yes. Inês, the word frenesim in Portuguese means agitation. Does this project come to raise awareness in the community for music? What is this frenzy? What is this frenzy?
That's a really, really hard question. Every time we have new people coming to our groups, we have that question, like, what do you do here? And we're like, well, you have to try it, and it's just too difficult to put it into words. But Frenesim is about education, art, and community in its transversality. So we don't teach art in a formal way, but we for sure create artists, because we create people. We don't create people, but we grow with people in a way that we all see art in the details of like the other fields of life. So it's not about teaching art, it's not about skills or like developing new skills or learning music, although most of it is through music. It's really about community and this transversality of education, community, and art.
So is give opportunity to the community to learn more or know better about music.
We don't say like know or learn more about, it's really about experiencing. So they really have a space there, a place where they can experience and express themselves individually and collectively. So it's not a place where they go to learn. I don't think that they think about Frenesim as
A school, for
a
example.
school
Yes.
at all, or it's not. And it's not even for people that go to school, because we work with babies. We say we work with people from 0 to infinite and beyond, because there's no age limit at all. So it's really about experiencing arts. It's about being and feeling an artist. So not about learning about arts or learning arts in a formal way at all, but about having this safe place to experience and make mistakes all the time. And
So Frenesim is experience. Yes. Susana, o Lugar Específico was born with a strong desire to adapt to the world in which we live. But after all, what happened in this specific place?
Thank you for your invitation to be here. And Lugar Específico is a place dedicated to cultural mediation, and the specific goal is to put the art in the middle of the quotidian and the day life of the people. It's the same goal, I think, of Frenesim, because I think Lugar Específico is not a school, but I think that the school maybe it was good if the school, the normal school, the official school was more like this. So
It's the second school.
I believe it. But that's the same thing. I believe that the arts, if we are not, I think it's very important to have some places where you learn the techniques and the music, like it is historical, and techniques and the artistic learning. But in our places, I think there is another perspective where the art is the place where we can be more complete person, complete individual, and some society with more flexibility, with more integration, with more diversity, but where the diversity can
be the key.
Can be the key, and can when we are all together with our specific diversity, we can build some richness and some place where. Why? Because the school, each of us just spend a lot of time in a place that called school, and where the more important thing is the head, our head, and the thoughts, and the conceptual, and the knowledge, and just the right answers, and the right things, and we just learn how to be effective and do the right things. And we are not just the head, and we are not people that do just the right things. I don't know what is the right things, and maybe one right thing is not the right thing for all the answers. So I think the art is a right place, or the art thinking, that thing that Inês just told that we can see the world and we can live in the world with some artistic way of some more poetry, some more look at the details and find the bridges and the links between things and imagine another way to live and to deal with the things. And I think the artists and I don't know, the tools of art can help us to be a greater and bigger and smarter and faster and more creative people.
Is think not in the cognitive way, but think in a creative way.
Yes, with the cognitive inside, but
Yes, of course.
but not the only one. Yes, we have arms, and maybe there are some people. There are multiple intelligence. So there are for some people that maybe they can think better if they dance. Maybe they can think better if they listen to things. Maybe they can think better or be more happier if they just shoot a ball. Or
Yes,
it's okay. Why we? If there is so many different language, why we insist to use just one?
just one. Yes, is true. And the three projects are very interesting, and they have a way to see the community. So, Airan, your projects are linked to these two myths, but also with nature, with the animals and the spirit of unity. In which country you pass by, you organized workshops and walks beyond of the concerts. Did people collaborate on this project, or did they find the idea of the project strange at first? Why do this? How people receive your project?
Oh, very well, of course. Also, I might add that Orfeo&Majnun is not my only project where I work with participation. Every project I explore different tools of participation because I'm also learning from each project. So Orfeo&Majnun is actually, it's now here in Santa Maria da Feira, but it's 2016. Since then, I've done completely different participatory projects. But I think if I can also respond in my answer also a bit to some of the things that my wonderful colleagues said, because I think we're all working with a very similar attitude and approach, and the word learning comes up. What I try to do in my projects is, and to explain also to the artists involved, because I try to do very large-scale projects. So Orfeo&Majnun shrunk a bit because of COVID, but in some cities we work with 3,000 to 5,000 people on different levels, because I believe that I'd like to use the tools that I have to create systemic change in schools, systemic change in cultural institutions. And while sometimes we create a safe place for us to work, I'm very much interested in moving people out of their comfort zone, because otherwise change doesn't happen. And I try to tell the artists that it's not like here are the citizens and here is us, the experts. We are artists, we are very smart. No, in my projects or in our projects, it's always about that we are all learners. Then we have a chance to succeed. And to accept that citizens have sets of tools, experiences, stories that they bring in. We have tools, but if we agree that we all want to learn from each other while we develop the work, then we might have a chance to succeed. And I think this is a very important attitude, how we speak with the people we ask to join. So also in 2016, I decided that we're all artists working together, and we have three layers. There is the professional artists, who we are because it's our profession, that's how we make a living. Then there's the second layer, because I also always try to involve arts academies, art schools, conservatories, because I think young artists should also learn that this is a possibility for their work. It's not only to become a star. It's also that we can contribute something, and we have tools. So I call those future artists. And the layer of the citizens are the citizen artists. So that way, there's no hierarchy of artists. We are all artists. So very important to me. And to invite people to work on a big project like Orfeo&Majnun is a long process. It's a process of talking, of connecting, because I also work in cities that are not my own. Actually, the project in Santa Maria da Feira started in this space, but it wasn't COVID, so it was full. And there were people from different artists, people from different communities, people from the municipality, from the social group. So everywhere you go, there will be networks of organizations who work with citizens. And I don't want to reinvent the wheel, it's there.
Yes.
So first process is to link with the networks. Through the networks, you can reach the people. And so I make a lot of information sessions, the partners make information sessions. And we invite people, and we tell them that there's no need to feel that they have to perform. So there are different layers of joining a project. And in the end, they all want to perform, but there's no pressure. Except those who say, I want to sing in the choir. Of course, the choir will perform in the opera. But some workshops that connect the love, loss, and longing stories, they were working with visual artists, with theater artists, with musicians, but without pressure that they have to present anything. And then you negotiate and you say, do you want to show what you're doing? And people say, I'm proud of what I'm doing. Or I don't want to perform live, but let's make a film and we show the film. So it's about negotiating and thinking and inventing and to give people the feeling that you take them seriously. And then you can sometimes be in a situation where you're working with thousands of people, and that creates an impact on, hopefully, on policy, on how cultural institutions think, how cities may create priorities for their cultural policies. But yeah, I always find that people want to participate, but I'm always asking them also how you want to participate, and I ask them, what do you want to tell? So they decide the content of their contribution. Not me saying, okay, everybody is going to be in the chorus, you have to do this, you have to do this, we all thought it out, thank you very much, bye-bye. Yeah, that's not the approach. That's not the approach of the work. And if you do that, people want to participate.
This is very interesting because I don't know if Inês or Susana wants to add something to Airan said, but I think it's very interesting because it's this construction of the hierarchy that people see somehow in the community, in the culture or art projects. What do you think about that, Inês?
Well, I guess that all the community projects start from the community. Otherwise, those are probably not community projects. Those are just like rehearsals for an artistic project. I guess that you need to really understand your community and to see them as artists. They are capable, they are full artists, and that's the first thing. Like, you really have to understand and believe that they are artists. There's no hierarchy, of course. Then there's like this people that are in charge to organize the things, and those are like the professional artists or the facilitators or the mediators or
social workers.
Like, there are not just artists working with the community. There's a bunch of people working with the community and growing with the community. So that's the thing for us at Frenesim. It's not about us artists at all, and it's not about art as like the first thing and then the community. It's really about the community and then the art. And that thing that you said about negotiate and see if people want to perform, that's one of the things that we constantly do, because it doesn't make sense to force anyone to participate or to do whatever if they are not comfortable to do it. So it's really a constant work together as a community. And then it can happen that in the end you have an artistic result, and you might want or not want to show it. And that's okay. Like, it's about the process. It's about the experience. It's never about the final result and the showcase or the performance.
Susana, what do you think about that? Is Lugar Específico so close to the community? Of course, they are, but what the community thinks and responds to Lugar Específico?
So Lugar Específico, it's a baby. It's just born in the end of 2019, so it was a really great timing.
We'll get to that.
But it's okay, and we are growing, and everything is okay. And the thing is, there are so many different ways of looking and saying what is community. So one of the possible interpretation is the local community near our place, because we have a physical place, and that one, it's like really shame for me, because with the pandemic we need to close the door, and that work, it's just like a standby. We are in the end of 2019. I was really involved to create links, and there are people who just knock at the door. Oh, I have this board things you want. Oh, I have this a lot of waste that I love. So the people are just going, and when we have some workshops or I go with the kids and just present the owners of the shops, the neighbors, and I was just creating a community there, but for now it's in standby. But I just found some other communities, and not like communities that they are being stay together or linked together about a project. Is like this. It's another way of create a community. The people don't be physical together, physically together. My English is really just sleeping. Maybe. Sorry, don't worry. I'm sorry about that.
I apologize for not speaking Portuguese.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
My Portuguese is not even sleeping. It's not even sleeping.
Something we need to work. So I was just saying that I think it's funny when you think about a community. You have a community with in your project in different countries, but there are the people who experiment
different communities.
Yes, communities inside the big community. I think it's good, but everyone just experiments a little bit. They have something common there, so community like this. So that experience about Parapeito, I think it's the project who just bring me here.
I'm just going to ask you about that, because everything was going well until a pandemic time assaulted us, COVID-19, the Lugar Específico adapts to these surroundings, but in practical terms, how did this center adapt to these constraints provoked by the pandemic? So you have an idea of Parapeito. This project was very important, I guess, to the hospitals, associations, give people the culture and arts that they need in the streets. How was that time, and how this project going that time in Lisboa?
Yes, I just want to say something before. I think when we just start to do some community projects, we as an artist or mediator or something like that, like a professional, the professional must have the conscience that is a really responsibility, because we are entering in the lives of people, and we must respect them, and we must enrich them, enriquecê-la, and be like we want to have a change, not we cannot pretend that we have the I don't know, the conquer one or the colonial one. There you go, and then just, oh, I know what is good for you, so take this, and this is good for you. And you come, you have the really honor to be with me because I am just like God, and then bye-bye, and then I go, and you just stay more empty than before. So I think it's a really big responsibility to do that kind of work. And how I really believe that art and culture is really important. It's like, how do you say, o bem primeira necessidade, it's first necessity good, no? It's that. So for some people, it's really like eat or really like drink or something you need to do because it's the part of you as a holistic body and mind and feelings and emotional and this. And when I thought about parapeito is the two meaning words. Parapet in English, but it's that thing on the window, and it's I would just really focus on the solution. So I think it's important to continue to take art or to bring art to the people and to put people together in a happier in a. I need to continue to see and to look at the eyes shining and the eyes just. I need to see life, so I need to see people living and feeling and just to
not be on the
not on the screen, not on the flat.
Exactly.
No, we need to. We are people. We are humans. So we need to feel that energy and to feel that exchange of energy. And so I just focus on the solution, and I just think about how can we do it, and where is the more fragile places, where are the more fragile people, or I don't know, in English it's not fragile, but the
vulnerable.
Yes, thank you. Community just working now.
Yes.
We have to do a project together. It's clear.
Yes. Yeah. And maybe I just learned German. The next talk it's in German.
In German, yes.
So it was that goal. So I need to find where are the vulnerable people, the more vulnerable. In some times everybody was vulnerable, but in the beginning, in April 2020, it was just like some red alarm places, no? Yes. Hospitals, yes, and old people's house, no?
Yes.
Large, no sé cómo se dice in English. And the goal was to simplify the maximum of the technology and the techniques and the needs, and to make some short presentation and to find the right artist that can look at the essential of the thing and not put aside the how to say, the rigor artístico, a qualidade artística, not put aside the quality, the artistic quality, or to make a good work, but the conditions don't need to be that SPTO to make a difference and to make the magic thing, and make the link and the message just to come. And I think Parapeito is just the beginning. It's not something that want to substitute the traditional way of going to the theater or to the opera, because this is one thing, and do something in the street, it's another thing, and do something inside a house or inside a school, it's another thing. But they can work together, because when I go to inside house with children house, como é que se diz? Residência de adolescentes, por exemplo, ou uma residência de crianças, um lar. Children homes, something
yes,
like this.
Children homes.
When I go inside, that kids or that young people just said, "Oh, it's the first time I saw something like this. Oh, I thought I didn't like it. Oh, but now I see. Oh, maybe I like it. Maybe in the next time I see cartaz, poster. Maybe I'll go there. Maybe now, because they come to my house,
yes,
so
yes.
now we are just like friends. Oh, these people, oh, we are just flashing. No, so maybe I can go there in that place that looks like, oh my God, this is not for me. Yes, and I think it was some of the special things of the project.
The ingredient, the secret in the ingredients in the pandemic.
And I saw people living again, yes, and it was really emotional. I just cry a lot, but in the good.
In the good way.
In a good
yes.
way, yes.
And Inês, how was the community felt the impact of the changing activities in the Frenesim because of the pandemic?
We came a long way. Like from it seems, I don't know. The pandemic is lasting for like 10 years now. It's
So
been a long
intense,
time.
yes.
And we changed a lot since March of 2020 until now. As I said before, we work with different age groups. We work with people from all different age groups. We work with babies, and we work with teenagers, and we work with elders. So
You work with people.
with people, but therefore we had to create different approaches for different people. We couldn't like just create a magical solution that would fit everyone. So since March 2020, we've been experimenting different approaches and trying to reach people, sometimes through these technological ways that Susana was saying that they were trying to avoid. We actually try to make the most out of it. And sometimes we decided to go for postcards, and sometimes we decided to just try different approaches with different people. And we started by trying to replace what we were doing on site, and that doesn't really work. So we quickly had to create
something fresh.
Yeah. So it actually, this is cheesy, but the pandemic became a great opportunity for us and an engine of change. So Frenesim is really different now from like March 2020 and now. Like it's really different, and it's still changing.
But different in the what aspects, Inês?
I mean, probably before we didn't use technologies at all, and then, I mean, not at all, because we already did like projects with filmmakers and like artistic technologies, but now we use technologies in a different way, I guess. Like in the beginning of the pandemic, in the first lockdown, we were using video conferences to like give assignments for our communities, like art assignments, or and trying to bring them together in these video conferences, and they were really like demanding for it. They needed these
hours, this experience,
and they wanted to be challenged. They were bored, and they needed something. And this lockdown, like this year, we felt they were the complete opposite. Like the same people were demanding for like totally different offers. They were sick of video conferences. Like the teenagers were sick of video in general, and
That must mean something.
Yeah,
When young people are sick of the technology.
totally. And we try to provide them with art and education in a different way. We made like really short videos. We tried to motivate them, challenging them to do it like in an autonomous and fun way. It was all like very fun and easy to do. It was not like an art assignment, like super difficult. It was really, sometimes they didn't even know it was art until in the end they were like, oh, I made it, like this was me. So we only, in this lockdown, like the last one, we used the video conference just to bring people together. It was like more of a group therapy, you know, like...
Yes, because music can be a therapy.
Yeah, but we ended up not like making music through video conferences because it didn't work and they were sick of like making things. So we were there and talking and we were together. We were creating this feeling of togetherness through the video conferences, and at some point they started creating something. So from the assignments that we were providing them with, they started wanting to do it together, but we were not pushing them to do it because we didn't want to, we didn't want to do the school model, to bring the school model into our work. So we were just there with them, and suddenly they wanted to start doing these assignments together. And well, at some point they were just creating something, and when we came together again on site at Casa das Artes, they had a project and something was starting, and we are now working on a performance that gathers the elements they created in the first lockdown and the second lockdown, and then a movement performance that they created on person, and it all became something. We didn't really push it, but it happened because they were demanding. So we know that there's an impact there because they were in the need of something, and it became an opportunity for Frenesim when suddenly we had like schools and teachers asking us like, how do you do this? Like, can you please provide training? Because we need to know, how do you motivate this teenagers or this
giving
children?
Time, I think, is the key. Give time to think, to self-reflect, to decide when.
I guess that there are multiple answers. Like there's no like one answer, and that's what we say in the training, and we can like we work on many different approaches and dynamics, but in the end, the most important thing is to listen to the people, listen to your community, and try to understand what are they demanding, what do they need, and that was the key for us, and that's why we actually ended up growing throughout the pandemic instead of vanishing.
Yes, Airan, you listen, Inês and Susana, with different
great joy.
but great joy and great projects. How do you rethink your project in the pandemic time?
Oh, well, I think maybe to take one step back, in order for our projects to succeed, and I think we will probably agree on this, is one of my keywords is trust. You have to develop a trust between the people that we are working with. And in the pandemic time, it took to another layer. We had to also give them the feeling that they can trust us, that we keep them safe. Because if you bring them into an environment, you have to make them feel that they are going to be safe. And that's a big responsibility for us as artists or artistic directors, because we're not doctors, we're not nurses, we're not virologists, although we've all become experts in fields we know nothing about. But we had to learn to keep people safe on whatever level of participation they go. I'm really not a fan of communication through technology. I believe my projects are on purpose analog. I was invited once to a conference where it was all about technology and innovation, and I said, I'm the only person in the room that can do a project if there's no electricity, because everything else just goes. You know, you cannot stream if there's no Wi-Fi, no electricity. But I just need people in the space. I don't need anything else. And the artists I work with don't need anything else. So what we did in winter, I live in Austria, so the last months I was also directing a festival. So we transferred everything to outside. So we did all meetings were walk and talk or walk and work. You can call it what you want. And it was snowstorm. So we were walking in the snowstorm, one-on-one, two-on-one, and just talking what we want to do, how we want to participate. So it was by far the healthiest festival I ever did, because every day I walked 6 hours in snowstorms. When somebody came to do an interview about what makes your work different, I said, you want to do a radio interview with me? Come, let's walk. So we were walking with the microphones in a snowstorm. So to give the journalist a feeling what's different. And through that, we were able to, and people saw that we don't give up, because many people just said, okay, nothing to do, just reorganize everything on Zoom. We said, no, we have to work. So we talked, we invited the kind of leaders of communities, people, to walk with us in the snow, the artists walk with them, and the minute the government said you can now do workshops if everybody's tested, we were ready because everybody was waiting to start. So everybody was tested, we made sure that people are tested, we went into community. So even schools that were not allowed to let sort of outside people in the school, they invited us, they said, we'll just say we are collaboration partners, because they trusted us. Yeah. And they really leaned out the window, because if the board of education would hear there are artists in the school, they say, what are you doing? But they said, no, this is a collaboration, so it's part of the school. And we tested them before we walked in the door. We tested, every 2 days. We are world champions in testing. I don't know what kind of holes I have in my nose now, but I've been tested so many times. The artist, just so that everybody can feel safe in the space. And so in that context of that festival, we still had hundreds of people participating because of the precautions we took and because we walked through the snow. Here, for example, in big projects like Orfeo&Majnun, the level of participation is, of course, much less than it would have been. The choir is much smaller because we also lost a lot of time, and a lot of money has been spent because we were just about to come here to finish the project in 2020, but all of a sudden it went poof. So, but there are still, if you look at the program of Imaginarius, you will find wonderful projects that are connected to the opera, but are made with communities. We have a choir made up of people from 4 different choirs who never sang together before, and they're just wonderful, and they bring such an incredible energy to the project, and they're working so hard. It's just really, they move me very much. And then you will find projects, a film that was made, people connected to local stories, local mythology with the Leila Majnun story. There's also, of course, stories connected to Islam, stories that happen in this territory. So there's many, many layers of participation, and that's part of the project, that there's the opera, but then there is the people's interpretations of these themes and of the realities of local spaces. And that's only possible because there's a great team working behind this who never lost their dedication to the project since the day we introduced it here. And I think that only works if there's trust and respect and people see that there's purpose in what we're doing. So it's changed scope, it changed in dimension sometimes, it changed in timing because we had to do much more intense, much shorter workshops than to say we work for so long, but it didn't change the passion, it didn't change the energy, it actually made it stronger because people were hungry for arts and culture. People were hungry for this kind of work.
It is interesting because in the pandemic or before pandemic, people, I guess people, or generally of the people, don't value so much the culture, the art, the music. And then we have a pandemic and like you're saying, people are angry to feel, to listen, to see. It is nowadays, do you think it is more and more and more important that people think in another way, not the cognitive way, in the learning of maths and other kinds of disciplines, but also music, singing, cinema? What do you think about it?
I don't like to play these different fields against each other because mathematics is you need a lot of creativity. Physics, science, research is all about music and math. I think we're much more connected, and I think the more connected we see things, the more we can enjoy things. That for me is one thing. I think people are always hungry for common experiences. Socially, we're social animals.
And feel alive.
Yeah. And so if some people like to go to theater, some people like to sit in a restaurant, but food is also culture. So we share cultures in different ways, and being locked up at home, and Netflix is wonderful, and there wouldn't be no Netflix without artists. Films are made by artists. People also forget when they watch a Netflix film that these artists maybe had their training in a theater. The composers had their training in a music academy. The filmmakers went to an art school. There is no film. So people run to Netflix or books, mainly streaming services, but what they show them is art and culture. I mean, that's what keeps us going. And for me, it's also the only thing that separates us from animals. I mean, that's what art and culture is, that we can language, and that can make us human. As you said before, that's what makes us actually human. And I think people realize it more. Yeah.
Yes, and alive.
Yeah. What's life without theater? Nothing. Life without music? Nothing.
Do you think that, Inês, do you think that society started to look at culture and art with different eyes during this pandemic?
I'm not sure I can speak for
Everyone,
society.
Yes, of course. But in your experience, in your community experience, what do you think?
I guess that we were hoping that happened, and somehow that happened for some people, and for other people, they needed to focus on other things. And I guess there's no answer. There's no yes, we now all value culture and arts. Unfortunately, we know that governments not always put arts and culture in first place as the first and the most important priority, and of course that reflects on society. So I think that people are hungry for these projects, and at the same time, many people doesn't even know that these projects exist. So it's possible that some people found an answer for their needs in arts and culture in these difficult times, and I hope that more and more people start valuing arts and culture, music, books, all these things that we are talking about more and more. But I'm not sure that the pandemic changed it all for everybody in the same way, because at least I can speak for the society. But yeah, for my experience is that our community that was already aware that these projects exist, they found in arts a therapy or a way of going through the challenges in a happier and lively manner. Yeah.
What do you think, Susana?
I think this time it's a really good opportunity for us to think about this and maybe to find some different ways to approach people, and not only without technology, not only with technology, because today we are here, and maybe there are some people that are listening to us that if there are no technology, that it was not possible. So I think technology just brings us some good things, but not not only that. I think we can imagine specific things that work on online or to technology, and some other specific things that cannot just like put online and then it's okay, because some things just don't work. So maybe we are just we have some more tools now. We have some more conscience about the things that we like, the things that we just miss, the things that are more important to each of us. So maybe it's a good time to think about that, not only the society side of art, but the artistic society also. What can we do different to approach people, to make bridges, to make links, and to maybe to change something, and to
yes.
I think it's a good timing to think about and then to make changes and to enrich the experience, the art experiences, because when we talk about art, I think there are so many different there are some art that they are very commercial, and there are some kind of artists that just everybody just like and everybody just see, and Netflix, everybody it's a kind of art, but I don't know if that kind of art or every artwork just have a change, how to say, a papel de transformador, não é?
Transforming
paper role.
Yes.
So there are some entertainmental art, there are some commercial art, there are propaganda art, there are
good art and bad art.
it's a lot of things. So I don't know what the society just like, oh, I need art, but what is this, and what kind of art, and what do you want?
Abstractive
yes,
concepts.
I think it's a really big word. So
what
we
people
need
need
to find for me what in my heart and in my head and in my soul, what I for me it was really like a strong thought. It was, I need to continue to do that, and I think it's really important to do it in the physical. And I need to go outside, I need to go to the nature, I need to find some partners, because the Lugar Específico in Lisbon, it's a cave, so it's not like, oh, I want to go to a cave now. It's a really good cave. I think it's really beautiful. It's really fresh in the summer, so it's a really nice place. But it's not safe. It's not like an idea of safe place now. Yeah. So what I do, it was like this. I find some partners and I do things outside. I go to the street. I go to, and that's because my goal. I thought that. I think that people need to feel alive, and the computer and the television cannot do it like a complete way.
Yes, exactly.
So for me it was like this, and I have a really small team. It's me, and it was like this pandemic. It was like 3-4 people that was with me, like young girls. They are really good. We don't have the opportunity to go to a good work online and a good work at the
real world.
So that work I know I can do. That one it should be a new how do you say desafio,
Challenge.
Yes. Passam umas palavras. So I just say I cannot do the both in a good way, so I go on that way. But we just do some experience online. I just like just like I need to think something that works. But
And more than see a screensaver or
yes, I found some activities that maybe can work. It was like say it's an opportunity to experiment also and to learn and to grow. I like the challenge, so it's okay. I need to think about some activity that maybe can work online, and there are some that this don't work. There are some others that's okay. I think this is a good thing. But the proposal it was to communicate with people and to alimentar, to feed that link with
that
people and that relationship. Yes, we are here, we're still here, and I want you to be there, we're still alive. Let's be together.
It's interesting, Susana, because in our talk, the three of you said three important words. There are trust, there are experience, and they are sharing with the community. These three words are very important in your projects, and I would like to know, how do you see these three words in the future? Because we have a pandemic, we have a transformation here, and we've talked about that, but how do you see the future of community projects, and even more, how do you see the future of culture in the days of the people days? Airan.
Well, it kind of connects to your question from before. So I really think that there is probably a much greater need for the kind of work that we do now, also considering all the mental health issues, all the loneliness that this pandemic has created and will create, because it's not finished yet. That's another thing, that there's a wishful thinking that it will end, but it's not over yet. Also, I think we mustn't romanticize the pandemic. I think this gives us time to rethink everything. I really think the need is probably greater than the awareness of people, again, for arts and culture, as we think. It's a wishful thinking that people will see it more, because people now are much more, also people I know, they cannot pay rent anymore, they cannot buy food anymore. So their challenges that they are facing because of this pandemic are much greater than, shall I do a participatory piece when I don't know how to pay the rent, I don't know how to feed my children, I don't know if I'll have a job. All these much more existential questions that are being experienced now. So in a way, I'm very proud of when I read colleagues I know a colleague who works in England, they just stopped doing artistic work and they just feed the people in their neighborhood because they live in a poor neighborhood. They said, who needs art now? They need food. So they took their budget and they work with restaurants, they created a thing and people are cooking and neighbors, and the theater gives out food. And that is where you see how important theater can be, because it is a community center and it just reacted in the best possible way to the pandemic, not forcing people to sing and dance, but giving them the most basic need of human, food. And we may have to rethink our work completely in these times, because people will need food, they will need jobs, they will need things. But at the same time, I believe that the need is greater, but I'm not sure that awareness now will be that 50% of the population will say arts and culture are important, because they really have to survive in a way. But our work is important, and we will just keep doing it because out of the necessity of ourselves, because that's what we know how to do. These are the tools that we have. And these three key words, the trust, the experience, and the sharing, they are basic also human necessities for any kind of communication. So even when I won't walk on this earth and the next generations will do participatory work, it will be based on these three principles. And also one more thing I want to add, because it was appeared in the beginning. People always say to me, like journalists, they say, wow, you're doing something completely new. Or people who knew me from the time where I did theater in big, just so-called normal theater, they say, when will you do real theater again? This is a question that always comes up, right? But when we look at the history of the theater music, it was always participatory. We are actually bringing it back to its roots, because there were not professional actors when people were working in the fields. The farmers were the performers, the farmers were the musicians, right? So all we are saying is, yes, we now have a kind of cast of professional artists, but all we are doing is we're not creating something new. We're bringing artistic forms back to their roots, and we're saying everybody can have a share, everybody can participate, everybody's creative, everybody has talent, and that's what I think, if I can speak, is our work is based on. It's going back to where it all comes from and not creating something against opera houses. Legitimate, but we are coming from a much longer tradition of how to do art and culture.
Inês, what do you think about the future of the art, of the culture near to the community? Do you think that this pandemic also give, in the complementary of the anterior question, do you think that the future is more happier, I think?
I hope so. That's what I wish. But first of all, I think we have to understand that it's not like before the pandemic everything was perfect and we didn't have like any challenges, and suddenly we have like a bunch of challenges and we can't like find the solutions. We always faced many challenges, arts and
in a different way.
Totally different way for sure. And this probably has been like the most difficult challenge for many community projects, and that's why some projects vanished. Like because it was a really difficult time, and it's still happening. It's not like, what now? Now that there's no COVID, what happens? Like there's still a pandemic and we don't really know the future. Like at Frenesim, we have our like the plan and the goal, what we want to do, and it never happens. Like even before it never happened, like the plan A was never the plan that we could in the end like do. So we have plan A and plan B and plan C and plan D, and many times you go through all these and in the end something totally different. So something totally different comes up in the end. So I think the answer for us at Frenesim and probably for other community projects is to get creative. Not get creative because I guess creative. Like we are still, but sometimes getting even more creative and patient. Like be patient because sometime it will be over, and we will still have challenges after that. So we are not waiting for the end of the pandemic to like have a happily ever after. We are facing challenges now. We will face challenges after the pandemic, and we really have to have plans for tomorrow, for the future that is tomorrow, plans for the next week and the next month and the next year, and like the plan A that make us move towards this future, even knowing that probably that plan A is never happening because it never happens. So for us, that's our way to go into the future is like just having plan A and B and C and D, and be prepared to invent and create more plans when the challenges come. But most of all, just being able. And I hope we can all be able to look around and see people, see the community, and understand what are the necessities, what are the needs. So I guess that's what the future is about. It's just about what we
Patience
do
and
right
work
now.
right now,
We are
exactly.
doing it already. Like today is the future already. This is cheesy, sorry.
Flexibility.
Not at all.
That's the word.
Susana, Lugar Específico, it's a baby, like you said in the beginning of this conversation. So what to expect to the baby Lugar Específico in the
I
next
expect
years?
that he grows and
Or she.
healthy.
She.
They work.
Whatever, just healthy. But I think I want to respond that the other question.
Yes, of course.
Because I think it's more important that lugar específico, the bigger way of looking to that theme. So I think it's really important what I've told about the it's a pyramid of the necessity, no, and the food and the security and the peace and then art. But I think art can help us to because can help us because I think art can change our way of deal with the things that are around us. So if we cannot put the responsibility always outside, and we cannot change the things that happen outside us, but we can change the things that how we can deal with that things. And I think art can help us to deal with that with more flexibility, with more creativity, and sometimes with more agility, and with more tools. We can discover a new job for us. Maybe we can discover a new task, a new way of getting money, a new way of getting food, a new way of being in the world. So that's the thing I want to believe that our work can help other people, because there are a lot of different workers and different responsibilities, and there are maybe the government should think about that problem, feeding people with food and give them houses and give that thing. And maybe we can help the people to look around and find that new opportunities. And I want to think that if we can do our work in a greater way, maybe we can help more people, and maybe we can, because when I look at the task, and I think and when I like to do many different things. I was in chemical university. I was on I like mathematics. I like plants. I like a lot of things. And sometimes when I look at the task and I say, oh, maybe I cannot do that. Maybe it's better not to do that. But I know I can do this well, so maybe I will do it well, better and better and better, and maybe like this I can help other people. So I think it's what we are just trying to do. It's use our skills and use our tools and just give to the people, maybe, and not just give, but just with together, just find more tools and more ways of dealing with
the people
and with the people.
Yes. Just to finish, our time is just to finish. I will like to do a final question. That is, Susana, what is the future of Lugar Específico? It is a baby. And Frenesim and Orfeo&Majnun, what is the future for this project, Susana?
Okay, so I think
what to expect?
I expect to be more I don't know how to say. This is the image.
More local.
Maybe more flexible and without
Fixed.
Yes, without just lighter.
You can speak in Portuguese if you want.
Eu gostava que o lugar específico fosse cada vez mais leve, cada vez mais portátil, cada vez mais flexível e criativo, ao ponto de encontrarmos cada vez mais diferentes soluções para diferentes problemas e, eventualmente, se calhar deixar de ter um espaço físico, pode ir por aí, e passar a criar lugares específicos onde passamos. Porque o lugar específico em si não é um lugar específico físico, é um lugar onde a arte, a educação e essa magia do brilho do olhar acontece, e ele pode acontecer em qualquer sítio, em muitos sítios diferentes. Então eu vejo o lugar específico como mais um satélite que anda e que vai ao encontro das necessidades e que se adapta e que se torna flexível à procura dessas...
It's like lugar specific is various specific places that Susana wants to lugar specific be these various specific
like
places.
A satellite.
Like a satellite, yes.
And without...
Too much weight.
Yes.
Yes, too much
just
weight.
Like to can just
fly. What we can't do now, we can't travel so much. So.
And for you, Inês?
For
Frenesim.
Yeah. We are redefining our future like every week. We are still finding out what's going to happen next. But meanwhile, we have our regular work at Casa das Artes. We have
In Porto.
So we have these people that year after year re-enroll and want to participate. We really believe that the community artistic projects can last years and years and years, and we grow with the people, and these people become a family. They are not a community because they live in the same neighborhood. They are probably a community because they all connect in Frenesim. So we want that to keep happening, as well as the sporadic projects that we have, like when we go to a place and work for a few weeks or 1 year or 2 years, and we can do this community be part of the Frenesim as well. So that's our plans. Those are our plans. We want to keep doing this regular labs that we have at Casa das Artes, and we want to bring Frenesim to another place or to many other places, so that these communities create a network.
Airan, what to expect of Orfeo&Majnun here in Santa Maria da Feira and across all the world?
Well, in Santa Maria da Feira, we have to show a more smaller version because of all the things we spoke about. And at the one hand, we're very happy to be here. On the other side, we are a bit sad because it's the last stop. It was a project with 7 partners, so it's coming to the end of Orfeo&Majnun as we know it. We will try to have it performed in other theaters, but not necessarily our production, because it's an opera. It can be produced by other people. So hopefully Orfeo&Majnun will inspire others to understand how to use stories and music from different cultures that are represented in the European Union, but often not heard, to understand that this is part of our European identity. So hopefully it will inspire for that. And I think the spirit of the methodology I already see in other projects that I'm doing or people that we worked with are doing. I just hope that the people responsible for the shaping of cultural policy will understand the strong benefits and effects of the kind of work so my colleagues here are doing, and give it the respect and the resources that it actually deserves.
Very nice. I want to thank you to Airan, Inês and Susana. Thank you so much for being here in Santa Maria da Feira. E agora em português, obrigado também a quem nos esteve a acompanhar aí desse lado, e obrigado em português aos 3.
Obrigado.
E obrigada aos três por terem estado aqui em Santa Maria da Feira e mais uma vez aí em casa quem nos acompanhou. Obrigada.
Obrigada.
Thank you.